Backed by popular demand, today we have Peggy Pardo, who will entertain us with traditional Hanukkah songs, stories, and classics for this holiday concert. Club members, we welcome Peggy Pardo.
Thank you. I love a standing ovation before I even begin. Look at that.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. I like that, Harvey. You know, we celebrate Hanukkah. How many people know why Hanukkah is 8 days? Does anybody know? Raise your hand if you do. Okay. It says Miriam's iPad 8. Why is Hanukkah 8 day? Unmute yourself, Miriam. Not Miriam Birnbaum. Go ahead.
It's 8 days because in the temple they waited they lit the candle. They had enough for one night and it lasted for 8. And that's why we light our Hanukkah candles in that way. And every night there's an extra one. And it's very lovely.
Thank you, Miriam. That is the traditional understanding. That's what we've learned. But you know, the only place that we can find the actual story of Hanukkah is in the book of Maccabees. The book of Maccabees is not in the Jewish Bible. It's not in the Hebrew scriptures. The book of Maccabee, believe it or not, is in what's called the apocryphal writings that was put in after the Tanakh was closed. So there's a story in the Torah about oil, but the miracle of the oil is nowhere to be found in the actual story of the Maccabees. What happened, if you go back and think about what was going on, what was the last holiday that we celebrated in the fall? We had Rosh Hashanah, we had Yom Kippur, and then we had Sukkot. How many days is Sukkot? 8 days. We didn't have the temple when we were supposed to celebrate Sukkot because the Antiochus Epiphanes had come in, he had sacrificed a pig on the altar, and we didn't have the temple. We were kicked out. But finally, when the Maccabees won it back, we were able to clean up the temple, and we finally were able to celebrate Sukkot, which is why Hanukkah is 8 days. As a matter of fact, the menorah in the temple was so tall, it was 70 feet high, and the light from the temple shone maybe miles and miles, maybe as if you could see it from St. Agathe. That was how bright the light of the temple was. And so I took the story of from the book of Maccabees, and I wrote the story to the tune of Maot Sur. And in this, we have a very popular saying that we say every Hanukkah, and it says, Nez Gadol Haya Sham. Now, for those who don't know Hebrew, I don't know how many of you are, but we have here, I don't know if you could see, the first letter is Anun for Nes, which means miracle. And then we have a Gimel for Gadol, which means great. And then we have a Hey for Haya, which happens or was. And then Shin for Sham, that's what's on our dreidel. Everything we do at the holiday times reminds us of the miracles that happen, except for the latkes. The latkes is not such a miracle. We added to all the other foods at all the other holidays, which is why we have so many doctors in Judaism. Because after all these foods, we go immediately to the hospital, have our gallbladder removed. Anyway, so this song, like Rosalie, you write your poems, I do the same thing. I take a story and I write it to music. So this is the story that happened long ago. A wicked king named Antiochus invaded Egypt, then Israel. His mighty army conquered us. Our temple into his hands it fell. No longer could our people celebrate our holy days. It became impossible to worship the God of Israel. It became impossible to worship the God of Israel. Now listen to what happened. Then some Jewish renegades, they chose to follow their pagan ways. They built a gym in Jerusalem and abandoned all of our holy days. In Israel were dark days for those who try to keep our ways. Great anguish filled our hearts so deep as many strived for Torah to keep. They found the courage to stand strong, and they chose death instead of doing wrong. Our altar they did desecrate. They sacrificed a pig on it. They went too far this time, you see, for that awakened the Maccabees. Yehuda and his brother and their father Matityahu, they formed a band of warriors and they took on the enemy. They prayed and fought and finally defeated Antiochus Epiphanes. The temple they did dedicate, and this is how the story goes. Some oil was found for just one day. 8 days were needed to make some more. They poured it on the priestly robes and lit the lights of the menorah. Nez Gadol Haya Hashem, it lasted for all 8 days. Nez Gadol Haya Hashem, a great miracle happened there. Now this is the traditional one which you all know, and you can sing along with me. Ma'ut Sur Yeshuati Mechana El Shabeach Tikkun Bet Tehilati V'sham Toda Nizabeach Li'etachin Matbeach Mitzor Hamnabeach Azigmor B'shir Mizmor Hanukkah Mizbeach Azigmor B'shir Mizmor Hanukkah Mizbeach. So in Israel we don't say Nez Gadol, thank you, Haya. Sham we say Nez Gadol Haya Po. A great miracle happened here. And one day we will all be back in Israel. Now, do you know why they sacrificed a pig on the altar? It was a pagan ritual, a tradition. They would sacrifice a pig to the god Zeus. That was the god of the Greeks. Remember, the Greeks wanted us to follow their religion. And many people did that to save themselves. But our God tells us in the very first commandment that we are to have no other God but the God of Israel, who brought us out of Egypt, out of slavery, no other gods. We can relate to that today because there's so many gods in this world today. Now, I know I personally, my friend Miriam, who you met, we searched in many religions, many ideologies before coming back to our own roots, the Torah. And I never knew many of the things that I had done in the New Age went completely against the Torah. And this story tells us what happens to us when we do. Our enemies rise up and they come against us, and that's where all the anti-Semitism comes. Now, as I said before, We are people of miracles. We have seen so many miracles in our history. How this little people, only between 13 million to 16 million throughout the ages, how we are still here, how our language is still here. We're the only people that this has happened to in all the scriptures. Now, this is one of my favorite songs from Hanukkah, I mean. Hanerot halalu she'anu madlikim, Hanerot halalu she'anu madlikim, al hanisim ve'al haniflaot ve'al hatshuot ve'al hamilchamot שעשית לאבותינו, שעשית לאבותינו, בימים ההם, בימים ההם, בימים ההם, בזמן הזה. These candles which we light tonight, these candles which we'll light that night, for the miracles and the wondrous deeds, the deliverance and the battles won by our fathers so long ago, by our fathers so long ago. On this day, at this time, we do remember and give thanks. Now, I think last time we had someone who spoke French here, so I translated it into French. Ces bougies qu'on allume ce soir, ces bougies qu'on allume ce soir, pour les miracles et les merveilles, la délivrance et les combats gagnés par nos pères il y a si longtemps, par nos pères il y a si longtemps. En ce séjour, en ce temps, nous nous souvenons et les rendrons grâce. Hanerot halalu she'anu madlikim, Hanerot halalu she'anu madlikim, al hanisim ve'al haniflaot ve'al hatshuot ve'al hamilchamot. שעשית לאבותינו, שעשית לאבותינו, בימים ההם, בימים ההם, בימים ההם, בזמן הזה. Now I think of the IDF, our army that we have today in Israel, the only army in the world that's called a defense force. Our army does not go on the offense, but we are always having to defend ourselves from our enemies. And they're like our modern day Maccabees. They go out and they fight for us, and we give thanks for them as well as the army that went out in the time of the ancient Greeks. Now, there are two songs for this holiday that reflect the two main branches of Judaism. We have the Ashkenazim, in which Yiddish is spoken, and before Rosalie spoke a little bit of Yiddish, and we have Sephardic, which the Jews who spoke Ladino from Spain, those are Sephardic. Many people say today that the Moroccan Jews are Sephardic, but actually it's not actually true. If you speak to someone who's Sephardic, you're welcome. Somebody texted me for singing in French, and you're very welcome. So the ones who speak Ladino, which sounds Spanish, but it's written with Hebrew letters, those are Sephardics. Excuse me. Now, so the first song we'll sing, and you'll all know it. Let me take a little bit of honey. Since COVID, I haven't been singing as much, and my voice is reflecting it. Sorry for that. So this is a Yiddish song, which you all know. Oh, Hanukkah, Hanukkah, Jontef Scheiner, lustiger, freilicher, Tov, noch a Zehner. Alle Nacht mit Reilen spielen wir. Zudig Häselatkes, es donnerschir, geschwinder, sind Kinder, die Dinninke lichte Leon. Singt alla Nissim, Leut Gatt, Vater Nissim, in Kund, Gicher tanzen in Kon. Singt alla Nissim, Leut Gatt, Vater Nissim, in Kund, Gicher tanzen in Kon. Oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Dreidels to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night, they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night, they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. And now we'll sing it in Hebrew, because Hebrew is our future. Yiddish is in our past, and Hebrew is the language that we will all be speaking one day. And Miriam, I'm so jealous that you speak Hebrew. Or is it Esther that speaks the Hebrew? Esther, I think, no?
It's in Israel.
Yeah, because you lived in Israel. Yimei Hanukkah, Hanukkah, Migdashenu, Begilu v'simcha, Mimalim et libeinu, Laila v'yom, Tzvifonenu Yisov, Suv ganiyot nochal gam larov, Hairu, Adliku, Nerot Hanukkah rabim, על הניסים ועל הנפלאות אשר הוללו המכבים. על הניסים ועל הנפלאות אשר הוללו המכבים. Today we sing and tell how great the victory, how we conquered our enemy. We took back Jerusalem, our capital. Now we could sing as the heart of Israel for the miracles, the victories, and the wondrous deeds. We do remember and sing here today to thank God and the Maccabees. We do remember and sing here today to thank God and the Maccabees. Oh Hanukkah, Hanukkah, Yom Tifashener, Alustikar, Afreilicher, Nito, noch a Zehner, alle Nacht mit Dreilech, spiele mir. So die Käselatkes, es donnerschir, geschwinder, zehn Kinder, die Dinninke lichte Leon, singt alla Nissim, Leut Gott Vater Nissim, in Kund Gicher tanzen in Kon. Singt alla Nissim, Leut Gott Vater Nissim, in Kund Gicher tanzen in Kon. So that was Yiddish and English and Hebrew, and now we're going to do one in Ladino. Now, Ladino, as you'll hear, has a very Spanish sound. The music is very Spanish, and it's called Ocho Candelas. Ocho Candelas means 8 candles. Una candelica, dos candelicas, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho. I don't know how many of you speak any Spanish, but you'll hear a difference in the Ladino. It's like you hear the difference between German and Yiddish. You hear a difference between the Spanish and the Ladino. For instance, for I in Spanish is ojo, but in Ladino it's ojo. So you hear there's a little bit of a difference. And this one says, beautiful Hanukkah is here. 8 candles for me, 8 candelas para mí. Muchas fiestas, a fiesta you know is a party. Vou fazer, we will make. Con alegrias, with pleasure, with joy, y placer, and joy. Los pastelicos, little pastries, vou comer, we will eat. Con almendricas y la miel, with almonds and honey. Hanukkah linda está aquí, 8 candelas para mí. Hanukkah linda está aquí, 8 candelas para mí. Una candelica, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelicas para mí. Muchas fiestas vou fazer, con alegrías y placer. Muchas fiestas vou fazer, con alegrías y placer. Una candelica, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelas para mí. Los pastelicas vou comer, con almendricas y la miel. Los pastelicas vou comer, con almendricas y la miel. Una candelica, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelicas para mí. 8 candelicas para mí. 8 candelicas para mí. So you hear the Spanish influence. Our people have lived in every country of the world, and we speak every language in the world, even dialects in Africa. There's a group of Jews whom we're in touch with who live in Uganda, and they're building their own little synagogue. Right now they have the walls, and the only thing they're missing is the roof. So we are helping them to build their roof. And here you go to a little village in Uganda where they're living in shacks. But we remember that, I don't know if you remember the story of the Queen of Sheba, how she went to visit King Solomon, who was the wisest king that we had. And she had a son. She came back with King Solomon, and she came back to Ethiopia. And we have a whole group of many Ethiopian Jews who have made Aliyah. We have Jews all over the world, and that's absolutely a blessing, because one of the things, I was reading the Torah portion this week, and it's about Joseph. And you see, Joseph was taken down to Egypt as a slave. But while he was in Egypt, because he was so faithful to God, God blessed him. And because of him, our people were saved from the famine, and so was Egypt. And whoever took care of Joseph, wherever he was, they prospered. And it's a picture of our people. Wherever we go around the world, we prosper, and the people around us prosper. The only thing that we need to remember is not to assimilate to the culture around us, but to bring our God, to be a light, or legoim, to these people. Now here's another song that I love for Hanukkah. I love all my songs, otherwise I wouldn't do them. Now this one's a story about a father who lights the shamash. Now who knows what the shamash is? which is the shamash. Go ahead, unmute. Go ahead, Marilyn. Yeah, tell us. Marilyn, unmute your microphone and then you can tell us what the shamash is. Or Penny.
It's the candle that lights all the others.
Exactly. It's called, you know what the shamash is in the synagogue? He's the servant. He takes care of the others. The shamash is the servant candle. It lights all the other candles and it represents us, Israel, the Jewish people. We are to be a light. We are to be the shamashim, the light to all the nations, being or, a light, or legoyim. So here it talks about the Father who's lighting the shamash. And then we'll see the mother, Iman natna levivali. The mother is making donuts, warm and sweet. Avidlik ne'od li v'shamash lo avuka v'shamash lo avuka yodim atem לכבוד מה יודעים, אתם לכבוד מה יודעים, אתם לכבוד מה לכבוד החנוכה. Father lights the Hanukkah candles, the shamash burns so bright, the shamash burns so bright. Do you know why we light them? Do you know why we light them? Yodim atem לכבוד מה לכבוד החנוכה. אמי נתנה לביבה לי, לביבה חמה ומתוקה, לביבה חמה ומתוקה. יודעים אתם לכבוד מה יודעים, אתם לכבוד מה יודעים, אתם לכבוד מה לכבוד החנוכה. Do you know why we light them? Do you know why we light them? יודעים אתם לכבוד מה לכבוד החנוכה. Do you know why we light them? Do you know why we light them? יודעים אתם לכבוד מה לכבוד החנוכה. Thank you. It's so important to know why we celebrate our holidays. It's not only about the food, it's the meaning behind the tradition. You know, the story of the oil, there's a story in the book of 1 Kings. And it's a story of a widow who was so poor. Her husband had died and she had 2 sons. And they owed a lot of money. And because the husband died, there was no one to take care of her. And her sons were too young to work. And the ones that they owed money to were going to come after her. And they were going to sell her into slavery and take her 2 sons. And at that time, it was the time of the prophets. So that time was the time of Elisha. He followed Elijah. And Elisha came to her and said to her, she was crying, and she said, I don't know what to do. They're going to take my children. They're going to sell everything we have, which was very little. And he said to her, what do you have in your house? And she said, the only thing I have is a jar of oil. And he said, okay, I want to tell your sons to go to all the neighbors and to borrow as many jars as they can and bring them back. And that's exactly what they did. And finally he said, "Are there any more jars?" And she says, "No, there are no more." He said, "Close the door, take the 1 jar of oil and start pouring, and keep pouring into all the jars until they are all full." And she did that. And when the last jar was full, she told Elisha, "They're all full." And he said, "Now take the jars, go and sell the oil. And not only will you have enough money to pay all your debts, but you will have enough money until your boys grow up and they'll be able to provide for you." Now, this is a story in our Torah, and it's a story of miracles. We have had one miracle after another with in our history, and we can be so excited about that. Now, interestingly enough, I was told, Harvey said to me, do some Christmas songs. And I just want you to know, I don't know if there's anybody here who celebrates Christmas. I think Grace does, and I don't know if she's here. But when we were kids, I remember, we used to love to drive around. My father would pile the kids into the car, and we would drive all around the city, well, the Jewish part. Anyway, we would drive around and look at the Christmas lights. Even now, I love to see these lights. And guess where they got the lights? The idea of the lights? From us. The Hanukkahs, the lights were copied. As a matter of fact, there would be no Christmas if it wasn't for Hanukkah. Because if we had assimilated to the Greeks, we would be speaking Greek, we would be worshiping the god of Zeus and not the God of Israel, and there would be no Jews. And because Jesus was a Jew, there'd be no Jesus. So the Christians could thank us instead of trying to kill us. Anyway, they don't all want to kill us, but some of them do. Anyway, that's another story. So this is one of my, believe it or not, this is one of my favorite songs. By the way, many of our Christmas songs were written by Jews. We know which side of our butter the bread is buttered. There wasn't a lot of money to be made in Hanukkah songs, but there was plenty to be made in Christmas songs. But this one was not written by Jews. But I love it anyway. Come, they told me, ba-da-bum-bum-bum. Our newborn king to see, ba-da-bum-bum-bum. To lay before the king, our finest gifts we bring, ba-da-ba-bum-bum. To lay before the king, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, ra-ba-bum-bum, ra-ba-bum-bum. So to honor him, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, when we come. I am a poor boy too, ba-da-ba-bum-bum. I have no gift to bring, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, to lay before the king, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, ra-ba-bum-bum, ra-ba-bum-bum. Shall I pray for you, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, on my drum? Mary nodded, ba-da-ba-bum-bum. The ox and lamb kept time, ba-da-ba-bum-bum. I played my drum for him, ba-da-ba-bum-bum. I played my best for him, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, ra-ba-bum-bum, ra-ba-bum-bum. Then he smiled. This is another one of my, there's something that's so special about looking when it turns dark and you see the lights. There's such a sense of awe, of holiness, something that's so special as we light our lights. I know we light, on the first night we light 1, and then the second night we light 2, all the way to 8. Believe it or not, there are some traditions in the Sephardim where they start with 8 and they work back to 1, which is another tradition. Remember, this is a tradition. It's not written anywhere, so really we can make up our own traditions. And to tell you the truth, I like to light 8 lights, all 8 nights. You see you can see in the back here my Hanukkah. I love the lights. So this is a beautiful Christmas song. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round young virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory streams from heaven afar, heavenly hosts sing hallelujah, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. You know, it's interesting, as I was singing that, I was thinking of King David. He was a shepherd, and he wrote the Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still water. He restores my soul. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table in the presence of my enemies. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And let me tell you, if you can't sleep, just say that out loud. In Hebrew, in French, in English, whatever language, even in Yiddish. And I'm telling you, you'll start to feel such a sense of peace that comes over you that before you know it, you'll fall asleep. Because he's with us. God is always with us. It's wonderful. And that's also what this holiday is about, to show us that he's always with us. Now it's not a Christmas song, it's a winter song. And tomorrow, when we look out of our windows, I understand we're going to have a huge snowstorm. So if you have to go shopping, do it today. So this song is for tomorrow. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Well, it doesn't show signs of stopping, and I brought some corn for popping. And the lights are turned down low, so let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. The fire fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. The fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Love that song. So for those of you who are still a couple, as soon as you see the snowflakes, give yourself a hug and a kiss and stay inside. You know, even a snowflake is a miracle. Do you know there are no two snowflakes that are alike? If you've ever seen what a snowflake looks like, they're so magnificent, so symmetrical. There really is a miracle in itself. And no two snowflakes are alike. It's like God is showing us that we are made in His image and none of us are alike. Each of us, each individual is special and unique in our own way. That's why we shouldn't be jealous of anyone else, what they have, who they are. We all have our own special, unique role in this world. Now, this is the last Christmas song that I'm going to do, and it's a Spanish one, and I love it, and I added a little bit of Hanukkah into it. Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, próspero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, próspero año y felicidad. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Happy Hanukkah. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, próspero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, próspero año y felicidad. I want to wish you a Happy Hanukkah. I want to wish you a Happy Hanukkah. I want to wish you happy holidays from the bottom of my heart. Now, a friend of mine, thank you, who's in her 80s, she's just started doing salsa. If you go on YouTube, you find a 20-minute salsa. So we can get up and do salsa and feel better. It's very good to dance. It's good to sing. Now I'm going to do another Hanukkah song. This one here was written actually by Peter, Paul, and Mary. And it's about lighting a candle for the Maccabee children. Light one candle for the Maccabee children, with thanks that their light didn't die. And light one candle for the pain they endured when their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. Light one candle for the wisdom to know that Messiah's time is at hand. Don't light one candle for the strength that we need to overcome all our foes. And light one candle for those who are suffering pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in, that anger not tear us apart. Light one candle to bind us together with peace as a song in our hearts. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our life and our tears. What is the truth we value so highly that we keep alive in that flame? And what's our commitment to those who have died? We cry out they've not died in vain. We have come this far, always believing that justice will truly prevail. This is our burden, this is God's promise, this is why we won't fail. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let your light go out, don't let your light go out, don't let your light go out. Remember, we are all light. Each and every one of us is a light to someone else. Even if we smile at someone, even if we give them a good word, if we do something to help each other, we are being a light in our world. Now, I just wanted to read to you something that is in the book of Maccabees. Now, the Kohen Hagadol at that time was named Judah. No, the father was Matityahu. And his sons were Judah, Jonathan, Michael. And Jonathan,
Peggy,
yes.
just one thing, does everyone know what the Kohen Hagadol is?
Oh, I'm sure they do. The Kohen Hagadol is the high priest who served in the temple. Thank you, Miriam. That the high priest would serve in the temple in cycles. And the Kohanim would also serve in the temple in cycles because it was a brutal job, believe it or not. They worked extremely hard, and they worked hardest on Shabbat. They would take animals and sacrifice them. They were like a butcher. And after a while, it's too hard. So I think there was a period of every 8 months, and they had to step down and rest because it was too much. But the father, Matityahu, was so upset of what was going on at the time of Antiochus Epiphanes. And I want you to listen to these words because it's very much the same as what is happening today. Anti-Semitism is on the rise again, and we have to be aware of what we as a people are doing, because nobody on the outside can ever destroy us. We destroy ourselves from within. So listen to what he's saying to his sons and to all the young men at that time. He said, pride and anger are now on the rise. And it's true, I see it everywhere. It is a period of fighting and hatred. This is a time, my children, for you to have a burning fire in your heart for the Torah, and to even give your lives for the covenant of our ancestors. The covenant is the 10 Commandments. Remember the deeds they performed, and you will win great honor and everlasting fame. Wasn't Abraham tested and found faithful, and God made him a righteous man? Joseph, in his time of troubles, stayed true to the Torah, and he became Lord over Egypt. Pinchas, our father, whose heart burned for the Torah, received the covenant of everlasting priesthood, Kohanim, and Shalom. Joshua, for carrying out his task, became judge of Israel. Caleb, for his faithfulness, received an inheritance in the land. Caleb wasn't a Jew, he was a Kenizzite, but he joined the tribe of Judah. We always have the stranger among us. David, for his generous heart, inherited the throne of an everlasting kingdom. The Messiah will come from the line of David. Elijah, for his total love for the Torah, was caught up to heaven itself. Daniel, for his faithful heart, was rescued from the lion's den. Know that from generation to generation, that includes us, no one who has hope in the Creator will be defeated. We will not be overcome. Do not be afraid of the threats of evil men, for they will all be defeated. They may be high today, but tomorrow they will be gone, and all their plans will come to nothing. So my children, be strong and courageous for the Torah, and it will bring you glory. This is what Matityahu said to his sons and the people of his day. And those words are still reverberating to today and are still for us, for those of us who are children of Israel. Now I see that it's 3:20 and I have Hatikva here, but we have time to do maybe one or two, Rosalie, I think. I don't know. What do you think?
Go ahead.
Does anybody have a request?
I want to, may I say something?
Of course.
My grandson just enlisted in the army yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
Again, he finished the high school. He did a year of yeshiva. He was studying, and now he's in the army in a special unit for 7 years.
Wow.
So pray for him and for all the soldiers of Israel.
Yes. What's his name?
And have a wonderful Hanukkah. His name is Harel Ben Iris.
So Lord, we pray for Harel Ben Iris. And
all the soldiers
and
of
all
Israel.
Esther, Rosalie,
Yeah.
I want to write this down. I want to send you, and you can send it out to your group because I'm sure you have their email address. There is a special prayer that was sung by the IDF soldiers as a prayer for all the soldiers. So I'm going to send that to you. Let me just make a note here. Send prayer for IDF soldiers to Rosalie, and then you can send it out because it's absolutely beautiful. And
Thank you.
you're so welcome,
Is it in
Esther.
English? Is it in
It's in Hebrew, but it'll have the English words. But it's absolutely beautiful.
Prayer in any language you want.
Exactly. You know what? God speaks all the languages. He knows
He understands everything.
He knows our heart. Exactly. So, is there a song that someone would like to hear before I do Hatikva? Okay, so let me go to.
Yes, Peggy.
Yes, who
Do
speaks?
you know the song Baruch Atah, Sing Der Tata?
I do not. Is that Beatrice speaking?
Yes, Esther's sister.
Oh, hi, Beatrice.
It-
So your name is Blima?
no,
What?
my name is Bracha.
Bracha, what a
In
beautiful
Hebrew.
name, Bracha. Do you want to sing it for us, Bracha?
Esther, you want to join me?
I don't know if two people can sing at the same time on Zoom.
Oh, okay. I'll try.
Okay.
My voice is not good.
That's-
Baruch Atah, Sing Der Tata. Und die Strahlen wird fallen, euch sein Platz im Ruh. Heilig is die Show, alte Flammen vergangen, neem es brennt noch in, Baruch singt der Tate, und ihr bleibt sein Kind. Baruch singt der Tate, und ihr bleibt sein Kind. That was my father's favorite song.
That was beautiful.
Okay, could you sing a song maybe like Chena Chena or Wir Hinselach Gain or things like that?
Wir Hinselach Gain. I love that song.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find it. Tell me, where can I go? Oh my goodness. You know, we have so many stories in our history about our suffering over time. And this song actually was sung by Steve Lawrence, and he sang it when he came back from Israel. He had gone on a trip. I think he went first to Poland on the March of the Living, and then he came back and he sang this song. Tell me, where can I go? There's no place I can see. Where to go, where to go? Every door is closed for me. To the left, to the right. It's the same in every land. There is nowhere to go, and it's you who should know. How can I understand? Wie hin soll ich gehen? Wer kann entfernen mir? Wie zu gehen, wie zu gehen? Als vermacht sie jede Tier. Sie ist die Welt groß genug. Dort fahr mir Hitz eng und klein. Wie ein Blick muss zurück. Sie ist zerstört jede Brick. Wie hin soll ich gehen? But we know what happened on the 5th of the ER, 1948. God shined his face upon Israel, and we became a nation. Now I know where to go, where my forefathers stand. Let me go to my precious promised land. No more left, no more right. Lift your head and see the light. I am proud, can't you see? For at last I am free. No more wandering for me.
Powerful, powerful.
Thank you, thank you. So long within our breast the heart of the Yehudim beats true. So long as to the east to Zion looks the Jew. So long our hopes have not been lost. For 2,000 years we've been waiting to live in freedom in the land of Zion in Yerushalayim. Kol od balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homiya ulefate mizrach kadima ayin Zion Sophia Und lo avda tikvatenu Hatikva bat shnot alpayim Li ירושלים, ליאותם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. ירושלים, 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 ירושלים. לשנה הזאת בירושלים, לשנה הזאת בירושלים, לשנה הזאת בירושלים, לשנה הזאת בירושלים הבנויה. May we be this year in the rebuilt Jerusalem. Amen v'amen.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming to entertain us.
You're so welcome.
It brings us back to our roots every year. And while we are busy with our own lives, it brings us back to a very equitable place.
Thank you, Rosalie. And that is so important for us to remember. You know, just as in the time of the Maccabees, it says there were young Jews who did not want to be part of Israel. They were embarrassed. They wanted to be in the gymnasium. They wanted, and in the gymnasium in ancient Greece, they worshiped the body. And they would do what was called reverse circumcision, so that people wouldn't know that they were Jews. It's one thing we should never be ashamed of, and we need to stand up for what is true and stand up for justice and for what is right and for our 10 commandments. We need to stand up for that.
There are Gentiles that do circumcision as well.
Exactly, and I know some, and they follow the God of Israel, just like Caleb. We always have the stranger among us.
Wow, such an inspirational concert.
Thank you, Harvey.
I want to find out why the Jews sacrificed a pig.
They didn't. It was Antiochus Epiphanes who sacrificed the pig.
Okay.
Because he took our temple and he was taking it for his god Zeus.
Okay.
But our God doesn't stand for that. He showed us, just like he showed the gods in Egypt, who the true God is. There's only one for all peoples. There's not 2 or 3 or 4 gods. There's only one. And with that, I want to wish you all Hanukkah Sameach. Have a happy holiday. Don't eat too much. Don't get sick. Just remember, when you see the snow tomorrow, give each other a big kiss.
Thank you very much for coming.
By your father or your mother?
Pardon me? What did you say?
Both.
Are you Jewish by your father or your mother?
I'm Jewish by my father and my mother.
What's that?
I've seen somebody came here who said,
Brian
Brian Baruch Shulman. I know there's some who believe they're Jewish only by the mother, and that they leave out all those who are Jewish by the father. That's religion, but I believe you're Jewish by the father or the mother. You know what? 2 Jews, 3 opinions. The Torah says it's the father. But on that, I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful, wonderful Hanukkah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.